Seriously, Bud is brought to you by OmniSend. OmniSend is a top choice for email and SMS marketing on WordPress, perfect for WooCommerce shops. Easily connect with customers and send out awesome campaigns every day. We'll be back in a bit to tell you about our other friendly sponsors. Hello, my name is Bree, and welcome to Seriously, Bud? A podcast featuring an unexpected conversation with someone from the WordPress community. And now it's time for our host, my dad, Bud Kraus.
Thank you, Bree. You know, I had so much fun last time speaking with Winstina Hughes. I thought I'd do this all over again. Now I'll be back at the end to give you my thoughts about this week's episode. It's number 73. So here we go. Sandra Kurze, welcome to Seriously, Bud. All right, how do you say your name?
It's actually Sandra Kurze, but I know it's tricky in English, so you did well.
Yeah. Okay, well, I tried. I always try to do the best I can in pronouncing people's names because it's important. And even though I can barely speak English, I have to give it a try. All right, let's get to the really cool thing about you, at least I think, is that you play trumpet. What's that all about?
And in very different kind of music directions. I play in a very traditional Bavarian band, like the ones that you know from the beer gardens and Oktoberfest and this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Where we always wear these like traditional dirndls and lederhosen. And I also...
Would this be the papa kind of stuff? Or
yeah,
no?
this would actually be that kind of stuff.
Do you know, before you go on, do you know the song Piano Man by Billy Joel?
Yeah,
you must know
of
that
course.
song. That is a papa song. It is when you think about it. All right, enough of that. So tell me more about what you play, where you play.
So it's not just the traditional Bavarian music, because actually I don't listen to that. I just play that. It's a big difference. And also, as a distraction, I also play in a big band, which is a completely different setup. Some of the people are actually the same, because when I started playing in the big band, they were like, hey, there's also this other band that's really cool. You should join there too. That's actually also where I met my husband. So there's a lot of story into that. I've been doing that for 20 years now, which sounds insane, but I'm getting...
Stop. You were 8 years old when you started. I know you can't be more than 28. But wait a minute. I want to go back to that big band era thing. So do you play like American big band era music? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, not sometimes a little bit. We do that stuff, but we also do a lot of like, how to describe it, dance music. So we play a lot at these dance events where people do like classic dancing and play a band. But of course, we also have some classics like In the Mood and things like that.
Now, you met your husband. Now, tell me about that, how you met him.
I mean, you could say we met through the internet, because when I moved to Munich, I Googled for a big band to join. And he literally did the same, like exactly a year before me. And he was in that band, and I had reached out to the band leader asking if they would need another trumpet player, and said, yeah, hey, come by. And he actually announced that in one of the rehearsals that, hey, there's a young woman coming, so please all be there next time. Please all behave. So they have all been there, except I wasn't, because there was a misunderstanding, and I came the week after that. So, and that was like the last rehearsal before the Christmas holiday. So literally nobody was there. It was really empty, but it was still a great group. And yeah, I stayed, and I've been playing with them for more than 10 years now.
Do you have more than one trumpet? I'm just curious.
In a cellar, there's my old trumpet, but I also have a flugelhorn, if you know what this is. I have no idea how it's called in English. I think it's
flugelhorn is how they call it. Now, hold on. There's another flugelhorn player in the WordPress world that I've interviewed, and I can't remember who that is. Yeah. Somebody that plays a lot of horns or plays. I know there's somebody. If you know that person, please drop me a line so I can figure out, because I don't know. It's a guy who plays a flugelhorn that told me about it. And then I had to go running around to find out what the heck is a flugelhorn. And I know what it is now. And a very famous flugelhornist recently died in the United States. That's Chuck Mangione. I don't know if you know the name. Very famous jazz trumpeter who played flugelhorn. So you do play the flugelhorn. Is it harder, easier, similar?
It's kind of
similar to trumpet.
So like the technique is the same. It's just the sound that's a little bit different. It's more it's more for like the ballads and some different kind of music. So I always have both of them with me, and deciding between which song to play, I decide which instrument to play.
Wow. I bet you're really good. Do you have anything on YouTube that people can...
Probably if somebody took videos, but nothing that I would share.
You don't know. Oh, come on. It's just the two of us talking. Nobody listens to this stuff. Nobody ever listens to my show. You know that. Anyway, all right. So you can tell me later, maybe that you can remember. We'll get to like what you do. This is not a WordPress show, but inevitably we get that in there. But what does your husband do?
He's also in tech. He's working at a database software company in pre-sales. These are the guys talking people before the sales guys come in or after. Sometimes they work together with them, and like the sales guys promise something, and the pre-sales guys, they have to actually show that this would actually work.
So, and now you mentioned that you moved to Munich. You were born in a little town, right?
A little bit.
The same town that your parents were born in.
Exactly. So I come from a really very small world. I think both my parents haven't moved more than once. Probably my mother twice. My dad definitely just once. And this was like 30 miles from their own town where they grew up. Mm-hmm. We probably all were born in the same hospital even.
How small a town was this? And give us the name.
The town is called Waldenburg. I think with all the like area around it, it has about 3,000 inhabitants. It's a kind of town where the bus stops going at like 7 p.m. Which really sucks if you're a teenager.
Sounds exciting, yeah. And I am a teenager, so you knew right away. It sounds really exciting. But before that town, you lived in another town that started with a K.
That's where I was born and went to school. It's Künzelsau, it's the name.
And you went to school there?
So I always had...
Was that a small town too?
A little bit bigger. It has like 10K inhabitants. And like a 40-minute drive with the bus, so I had to drive there each and every day. Spend a lot of time waiting at bus stations.
And, I'm sure that people that come from small towns in Germany are different than people that come from big cities in Germany.
Of course.
Just like here. Because my wife is from a small town. And even though we lived most of her life in New York City, she's still a small town girl. Are you still a small town girl?
I wouldn't say so. I actually always preferred like the bigger it got. So I didn't start there. I didn't move to Munich directly from there. So I had steps in between that, and each step was like a little bit a bigger town, and each time I liked it more. I think I wouldn't move to bigger than Munich. So Munich is like the perfect size. I don't know if I would actually want to live in New York, for example, since you just mentioned it. I love New York, but I don't know if I would want to live there, at least not in Manhattan. I think nobody wants to be in Manhattan.
When I was like in my 20s or 19s, if somebody said you're going to live in New York City one day, which I did for a while, I'd say you're out of your mind. I mean, there's just no way. And then I ended up loving it, of course. And I love the people. I don't live in New York now, but I did for a period of time, and I loved it. I mean, you walked out of my apartment and I was in Times Square, and all that stuff. It was great, So you're in Munich now. Do you know anybody else in the WordPress world that lives in Munich?
Yeah, actually, there are a couple of agencies here. There's my company, of course, and all the guys working there. There's also, I think, Birgit Pauli Haag moved back from the States to Munich.
Certainly does.
And
yes.
I know Matt Cromwell didn't move to Munich, but he did move to Germany, I think. Yeah, just to name some examples.
Yes. Birgit and I go way back, and she's been on the show. Now, what about your education, though? Where did you go to school? Tell me about that.
Yeah, the school was actually also in the same town that I was born, Künzelsau. So nothing really special for my school time, just other than I really was one of those girls, like, I don't know what you call them in English. In Germany, you would say Streber. So always like super prepared, always like studying really hard, taking this really seriously. But at the same time, I was probably also one of the students like partying the most, which was at the end of our school time. We printed this book where every student got a page. I think you have these yearbooks, like a yearbook probably in the US, and everybody was able to comment on the pages of the other ones. And like,
we have that.
Probably 50% of the comments on my page were like, how could she be such a Streber, so studying that hard and taking it that seriously and still always be the last one at all the parties? How does it work?
And you want to answer that question?
Hey there. We'll get back to the show in just a moment. Seriously, Bud is made possible by Big Scoots. When it comes to WordPress hosting, there is no reason to compromise on service from your provider. Expect more. With 24/7, 365 live experts, Big Scoots redefines managed WordPress hosting service levels for clients, partners, and agencies. Learn more by visiting www.bigscoots.com and chat with a team member now. And by the WP.world, a great way to see who's in the WP world and what they are up to. Find out at the WP.world. That's right. It's the WP.world, and let others know what you're up to, too. Now, let's get back to the show.
It just does, probably because I did all the studying before, so I didn't have to do it like in the last night before the exam.
Oh, you sound like beyond an A+ student. I mean, you sound like the dream of all dreams for a student. Yes?
Probably, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I have to admit this.
Did the teachers love you? They loved you because you were so good, right?
I think they did, also because they didn't do much trouble in school. I left that for elsewhere.
You were a good kid. You were a really good kid. You're smart. You're good. Did you have any boyfriends in school and stuff like that?
I did, but they were always older, so they haven't been in school. And this probably was one of the reasons why I also enjoyed school so much, because I was always with older people, and they always told me you really have to enjoy this time. This literally is one of the best times in life, because you don't.
No, it wasn't.
In terms of you don't have that many obligations. You have a lot of free time. You don't really have to worry about anything. So they always kept telling me, enjoy this time as much as possible, because it will only get harder when you start going to university, when you start having a real job. So please enjoy it. And that's what I did.
What was your worst subject?
Sports.
That's not a subject. Although I did get an A+ in bowling when I went to college.
Yeah, actually, the numbers that they reached in all the exams, sometimes they weren't even on the list. So, yeah. I was so bad that they had these results and said okay, if you be able to jump that many meters, you get an A or a B or whatever. And my numbers sometimes haven't even been on the list.
So you're good at everything else. English, German, whatever. But you studied, what languages did you study in school? I'm sure you studied English, right?
Yeah, English definitely. And also in Germany, we often have at least 3 languages in school. That's the standard. Cool. So I had English and then French, and then I decided to add another one and did also Spanish. I continued with English and Spanish until university. That's when I also started learning Italian, but it was just too many languages that were too similar. So I never reached that point where I didn't always mix all the Spanish and French in my Italian. So I stopped doing that.
Well, aside from German, what's your next best language, or you feel most comfortable in?
English, yeah.
That's what I thought. Boy, your English is phenomenal.
Thank you. I have actually been working on that a lot, because I used to be extremely good at English to a point where I was thinking and dreaming in English, because I also spent a couple of months in the US, so that was the time. And then in the last couple of years, I didn't need it that much in my daily work, for example. And I was really frustrated that, I understood everything, but when I talked, I always noticed, I want to say something. I don't get the words immediately. I'm struggling. And it was really hard. But in the last couple of months and weeks, we had so many conversations with Americans, to America quite a couple of times. So it's getting back to, I'm not there yet where I want to be and where I want to be, but it really like that.
Now, before we get to college or university, you do watch American TV now, right?
I don't watch them. I binge watch them.
You binge watch them. Oh, that's watching them, okay? I'm sorry. That is, you binge watch them. Okay, so give me 1 or 2 that you really like.
All the Chicago series, like Chicago Med, Chicago PD, Chicago Fire. I just started watching them a couple of months ago, and I think each of them has like 20 seasons, and I'm through all of them.
Oh
So I literally
God.
watched 60 seasons.
Who has time for this stuff?
That's actually my evening calm down relaxation. So my life is so busy that whenever I have like a evening, I just do nothing. I just watch 3 or 4 episodes of one of these series.
Or as we say, you veg out.
Exactly. So I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
Just listen.
I don't know how to veg out. Okay. I am not a veg out kind of person. I do not veg out well. Now, Chicago, have you been to Chicago?
No, I haven't actually. I mean, I have
gotta
been
go.
to the airport.
It's a great city. Well, no. That's like, I've been to the airport of Munich. I have not been to.
Yeah, also, but the airport of Munich is like really far away from Munich. It's always so funny when there are tourists asking us like, we have a couple of hours now here at the airport. Does it make sense to go to the city? And like, yeah, well, it takes you an hour to get there, an hour to get back. So probably not.
What about school? Where did you go to university?
I actually, what in Germany is called dual studies. So a mix of studying.
How did
and
I
working.
know that? You know?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I might be a little
Okay.
bit predictable here. No, for me, it was very important to not just do like the real stuff, but also to have experience and to learn by doing,
Right.
literally. So I studied in a town called Ravensburg, a little bit bigger than the ones I mentioned before, but still a small town. It's at Lake Constance or near Lake Constance. We're in the south of Germany. And yeah, in the winter I was there, and in the summer times I was working, and I worked at an event and tourist office also at Lake Constance, and in a very small town near Constance, like the neighbor town called Ansbach. And that was really nice. That was really nice. It was like literally directly at lake. So when I had a break, I went to swimming, for example. So this was a really, really nice time.
And I'm guessing, well, I'm not guessing. You did really well in college, or as we call university. And you studied, I'm guessing now here I'm going to guess like marketing or what?
Yeah, not that bad. So business administration, which also includes
business.
marketing, but with a focus on tourism, actually. Yeah.
Tourism. I think you said that. This is the time in the show where I say to myself, Bud, pay attention to what the guests say. But you know how hard it is to do that at my age, to pay attention to anybody?
Seriously, but this
or
is your show,
anything?
so this is like the entire sense of what to do it. You
That
should
is
be
true.
used
It is
to
my
listening
show,
to
and if
people.
And if I want to screw it up, damn it, I'll screw it up. Okay. So I have to get to what you do for grade. Okay. Now, I don't really know that much about grade. So this is your 3 minutes of time that we dedicate to the show, that you could talk a little WordPress and what you do and stuff like that. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm with Grade more or less from the beginning of the company. We're still relatively young. We started a couple of years ago, and what we do is a comprehensive suite for web agencies and enterprises who build high-volume web projects. A lot of websites could, in theory, use it for any kind of website. It's based on the block inside of the term. It's completely integrated in the core. And what it does, it really streamlines the building process because we have a lot of dynamic elements in there. And when the power gets in is when it's not just a website, but an entire system of website. So to give you an American example, think about a franchise with hundreds of locations, and each of these locations needs a website. And the franchise needs to be able to control certain things like the design, visual content, and certain static content from a global level, but still enable the local franchisees to make local smaller changes on their own. And possibly, if we're talking about a fitness franchise, these people are not skilled in WordPress. They really don't know anything about that. These might be fitness club owners. So we make exactly that possible. And there's like a management platform. We have all these hundreds or thousands or whatever many sites manageable from one dashboard. And we enable you to synchronize elements across any number of sites. So yeah, and I'm responsible. I started focusing on marketing. That's what my background is. But with the company growing and the needs changing, I focus more and more on the operational part. So by now, I still have the title COO and CMO, but my main task is really making sure the processes work as they are supposed to, and making sure like we have the right tools and are ready to grow to the next phase.
Sounds like fun. Do you have fun doing this?
Otherwise, I wouldn't do it yet.
Not always.
I mean, yeah.
What are you going to say? Oh, I hate it. No, come on. So your clients are mostly agencies,
most of the time,
or all agencies, and they're big agencies.
Not necessarily. We also have small agencies who we am able to take on these enterprise level projects because they don't need that bigger teams, because we increase efficiency by a lot, and we empower designers to do stuff that would usually require tech people to step in. So we really empower smaller teams to take on big projects.
Ah, wow. That is a weapon and a half there. That is something that the small agencies would want, because we want to do bigger projects, but we don't have the tools.
Exactly.
We don't have the resources to do that. And now with you, we do. So how do they... Oh, I'm getting too deep into this, but how do they pay you? I mean, I know in money, but is it like a monthly fee?
Yeah, exactly.
Fee? Just tell me a little about the fee structure.
It's a subscription-based pricing. I think we were probably one of the first companies in the WordPress ecosystem to do that. At the beginning, there has been a lot of criticism, a lot of discussions. People told us nobody would ever pay like $70, which is our smallest subscription per month. And then all these other companies started killing their lifetime licenses, because this concept just doesn't work out from an economic perspective. Neither for the company nor for the users.
Oh, you mean lifetime? Doesn't work.
Exactly.
Lifetime licenses for this kind of thing would kill a company.
Absolutely. I completely agree. But when we started, there have still been a lot of these lifetime license business models. And at the beginning, we had to really argument why we're not doing that, and why it's also a good thing for the customer that we're not doing that. I mean, a lot has changed. Right. We're not discussing a subscription anymore. But yeah.
And one last on this, and that is, how are you injecting AI, or I had to ask that question, right, into this whole process? I'm sure it is playing a bigger and bigger role into your service.
So where we are strong at in general is building the infrastructure for all your web business. So when we thought about AI, obviously there's a lot of companies investing in automating the entire building process, focusing on content and all that. So we decided to not also do that, but to focus on the parts where we are really strong. And we are currently building a great AI that in the first step will be a backend assistant that will help you automate all these tasks that you can do, okay, I don't know, 50 sites and these kind of elements, this post type synchronized to these sites, and just do that for me to make life easier. Right. It will be the first step. And the step after that will actually be what we call self-optimizing websites. So think about telling your AI what you actually want to achieve with your website. So probably different target groups that you target with your website, and with each target group, you have one or several goals. And the AI is then constantly analyzing who is on the page and to whom of these groups might he or she be a part of. And then it will automatically, for example, rearrange elements on your site. So for example, if it realizes, okay, there's somebody on the page looking for really deep information, really spending a lot of time going through all the details, and probably show them the white paper in the 10 seconds demo video or something.
So the AI would change the navigation here? Is that what you're saying?
Based on what you let it do. So there will suddenly be different levels. You wouldn't want an AI do anything on your site. You would have a certain set of rules, and you could even I don't want it to change anything, but I wanted to make suggestions, for example. So there will definitely be different levels.
Got it. So it's not on its own.
No.
Whatever it wants to do.
It would be fun.
There's still some human, at this point, intervention.
Yeah.
Right? There's still some human involvement.
Could be funny results, but probably not always what you want to have on your site.
All right. Enough of this WordPress jazz. Okay. So, but one thing I know about you, and did we ever meet?
I don't think so.
You were at PressCon.
I was, yeah.
Right? You were in Arizona.
I was there.
Yeah, but if we met, we just waved hi or something like that. We didn't really meet. Yeah. But I know from what you told me is that you love to travel, which is not an unusual WordPress kind of thing. Oh, before we get to the travel stuff, would you consider yourself an introvert? I haven't talked about that in a while. Introvert, extrovert, non-introvert.
Extrovert, I would say.
You are an extrovert.
I think so, yeah.
So now there are two of them. There's you and Stephanie Hudson. You are the two extroverts. I don't know if you know Stephanie. So we have two now. See, I'm really good at keeping score of these.
But didn't you also have Raquel on the show already?
Raquel would be, I think if she isn't an extrovert, I don't
exactly.
know.
I know that she wouldn't put herself like as one, but yeah.
I don't think I would call her an introvert. Okay. So at least she doesn't come across as an introvert, but I am, and just about every guy you can think of in the WordPress world is an introvert. But back to the travel stuff. Okay. So I had to ask that. I hate this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What's your favorite thing to do or go or thing that you've ever done or seen? And that covers a lot of, answer that any way you want, because that's not even a question. I don't know what that is, but like, oh, we went to Sicily once and we went to Taormina and we went to whatever. Give me this was like Santorini is the most gorgeous place on earth. Give me
Botswana was definitely one of my highlights. Costa Rica as well.
Why'd you go there? Why'd you go to Botswana?
That was actually a kind of work trip. So back then I used to work for a PR agency focusing on luxury tourism. And we had that one client offering sustainable luxury safaris all over Africa. And they offered me to go there with back then with my still boyfriend, now husband. And we spent a week in like really, really luxurious, and then 3 different camps. We were they flew us with chestnuts from one camp to the other, and we visited 3 camps. And this was it was, I think, just 7 days. And it was literally the only time when I came back from that vacation or work trip or whatever you want to call it, I didn't remember any password. It was a Sunday. I was like, okay, tomorrow I have to go back to the office. I didn't remember anything. I couldn't tell you which projects I had been working on. I couldn't tell you what to-dos were on my list on the next day. It was like completely blank. And I mean, this is actually what you want to achieve in vacation, but I mean, how often does this really happen? And so this was really great. And we also had no internet or phone connection.
Wait a minute. I have to interrupt here. Wait a minute. This is what you want on a vacation. You want your mind to be totally erased?
I mean, not totally erased, but like not take all the work with you on vacation. And I think in Germany, there's actually a law that defines vacation as this is supposed to help to recharge and to come back fresh and recharged and all that. And yeah, I think most people try to at least forget a little bit about work. I mean, probably not in a sense that I don't remember anything.
I don't try. It just happens naturally. Remember, vacation, obviously vacate. So to erase, to forget.
So yeah, but I really enjoy exploring places that are very different from the ones that I know. So in terms of, for example, nature. So that's the reason why I mentioned Costa Rica. I also enjoy exploring different cultures in terms of sites, but not just skyscraper buildings, but temples and stuff like that. So stuff that doesn't exist here. I love beaches and palm trees. So that obviously has to be part of every holiday I like when it's warm. That's the reason why I've never been to the Nordics.
That's interesting. You're not that far. So what about, do you like to go to a beach and just do nothing?
I think do nothing doesn't really exist. I have to at least read a book.
I can't imagine.
During a vacation. But I can spend an entire day at the beach and more or less do nothing. But then the next day I have to do sightseeing or something.
Yes, I can't go to a beach because there's nothing to do, nothing to learn, nothing to see except
probably
sand.
You should go underwater. Sometimes there's a lot to see there.
Yes, I know, but only if the waves are crashing down on me. That's what I like. I like to go to an ocean right before a hurricane.
Oh, really?
Not during, but right before, when the waves are really going crazy. That's what I like. Other than that, I just, the more dangerous, the better. So what about in the United States? Now, I know you've been here and kind of well-traveled in the United States. Is there any city or town or
so I
area?
Spent a couple of months actually during my university times in California. I lived in Riverside, which is a town near LA. Yeah. My favorite town I visited there was San Diego. So a couple of weeks ago, when we went there with the German Accelerator program, we've stayed in San Francisco, which is the closest I've been since that stay as a student. And it was really, it kind of felt like coming home, was really nostalgic. I also love New York City. As I said, I couldn't imagine living there, but I've been there 3 or 4 times now. And every time it just amazes me. I really love that. It's also I think it's the biggest city I've ever been to. So that probably also plays a role. I've been to Tempe, Arizona for PressCon. When I studied in LA, I also did like trips to San Francisco, Las Vegas, and all these kind of touristy things that you just need to do.
Have you been to any of the national parks here, like Yosemite?
I was just about to say that, unfortunately, I did have to study, so I couldn't just travel. So I only had like weekends, and the time was not enough to do these kind of trips. I would have loved to go to Yosemite and the other parks, the redwoods and all that, but it just didn't have the time. So that's very high on my bucket list. I want to go to see these parks.
Well, hopefully there'll be a WordCamp US next year, and you'll come, and maybe it'll be in the middle of the country. That'd be nice, like Chicago, New Orleans, that kind of thing. My favorite cities.
To see Chicago like in real life.
Sure.
Oh, I've also been to Florida. I just.
Oh, not my favorite. Okay, so what about Florida did you like? Or didn't you like?
So I've been to Miami and Key West, Miami Beach and Key West. There's not so much to say about Miami, but I really like Key West because of the atmosphere, and I loved the Miami Beach, and I love Key West because that's just like all the beach and America mixed, so I like that. Also, it's funny that it's like literally just one street going there, so we came back, there was a car accident, a car burned, and we almost missed our flight back. Because if something happens there, you just can't go around. You're stuck. Yeah.
Okay, so anything you want to say, anything you want to ask me, don't you dare. It's my show. You can't ask me questions. But yeah. So what were you just drinking there? I saw you drinking something. Is that like beer?
No, it's actually just water. When I'm at home, I really only drink water, just because it's healthy. And
do you bike? Do you do a lot of physical activities and stuff like that?
As I mentioned, sports is not really something that I'm good at, and also that I really enjoy. But I had to start after my first child, so I kind of had to do something, and I've continued since then. So I have a personal trainer that is here once a week, and I at least try to do something at home twice or more often a week. So, and also we moved with our office, and since I go there by bike every day, which is probably, let's say it's 10 kilometers one side. So I think that's like 7.5 miles, something like that in one direction.
Yeah, that's not too bad. That probably takes 45 minutes
it
or something like that.
45 minutes, not only takes me 30. But I have to mention part of that trip is with 2 children back in the trailer, which altogether is about 60, 70 kilos. So
Wait a minute. You have the kids with you on the bike?
Yeah, it's what do you call it, trailer, or what do you call it, like behind my bike?
Oh, yeah. A trailer. You mean like a little thing that it's attached to the bike?
Yeah, exactly.
And you're dragging them along.
I don't have an e-bike, so it's all my work. And with the kids growing, it really gets really heavy. But I like to do that because that's me. You kind of get to know me. I like to optimize and increase efficiency in everything. So
yes, I've noticed.
So I try to integrate it in my daily work.
And they come to work with you?
No. I just
you drop off?
I go to daycare, set them off, and then continue without the trailer.
It's like dragging around groceries.
Yeah, just like a lot of groceries. I sometimes also do, like when we go back home, I stop for grocery shopping. So I have the kids, my work stuff, all their stuff, and the groceries, which probably exceeds the maximum limit you're supposed to have in these kind of trailers by a lot.
Do you strap them in?
Yeah,
there must be a way to bolt them in so they don't jump out or anything like that. Yeah. That's interesting because that's a lot of work. I can't imagine dragging that kind of weight behind you.
As long as it doesn't go uphill, all is fine.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it pretty flat?
It is.
Must be pretty flat. I think this could be like the last question. I don't know why I'm asking you, but as I'm talking to you, I'm thinking about German chocolate cake. I don't know why. Do you know what German chocolate cake is? Is that something that they make in Germany?
I know that you guys have this like as ice cream and all this. So, but you have the perfect conversation partner to talk about chocolate because I adore everything with chocolate. And yes, I eat a lot of chocolate.
Let's talk about that. I don't think we've ever had a chocolate conversation on my show.
One of the things I was most looking forward to when we get got to Tempe, Arizona was that I realized they had a chocolate fudge, I don't know, what's it called? Cold Stone Creamery, where they used to call it German chocolate cake ice cream. They changed the name to something else with chocolate, but I had it. I did the small one. My boss Mark, he took the big one, which I think they said it had like over 1,000 calories or something like that.
Why not? You only live once. So, and I'm assuming it was really good.
It has brownies in it, so it has to be good.
What about in Germany, though? Is there a certain kind of chocolate? Because people do listen to my show in Europe, and maybe you're going to teach us, I'm sure you are. What's a good kind of chocolate? I wouldn't say so.
We have Lindt. I think, I'm actually not sure if this is German or Switzerland, but we have Lindt and we have Milka with a lot of good chocolate. The Swiss are actually doing even a better chocolate than we are, but we have, lots of different sorts with anything that you can think of. Probably not as crazy as what you can get in the US sometimes.
Well, here it's just,
everything's big.
The cities are big. Everything's big. And it is true. And you go to the grocery stores now and like, where's the food? It's just potato chips and stuff. It's really disgusting. But German chocolate cake, I'm assuming it was made is it Bavarian?
It kind of depends. I mean, we don't have a traditional German chocolate cake. We do have Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte, which is not just chocolate.
Some kind of dark.
It's with cherries and also some alcohol in it, but that's not from Bavaria.
Nice.
I'm not sure. We also have Donauwelle, which is another traditional, cake kind of thing. But it wouldn't be that much as you would expect it because we don't eat that sweet. So we do have these really sweet German chocolate cakes. What you have in mind, but it's not a traditional German.
No, our food is so disgusting. You don't even want to get into this. I mean, trust me. It's like, and German chocolate cake is, I never thought it was German. I just thought it was that's what they called it.
I actually don't know quite
with the coconut and coconut butter frosting. Okay. All right. We have reached the end of the show. Unfortunately, I could go on and on, as I always say, but it's true. Who do you recommend I have on a future episode of Seriously, Bud?
Actually, a lot of the people I thought about have already been on the show, which probably is a good sign for the show.
I guess.
I think one person I have in mind that hasn't been already is Jessica Lischek. She's actually a colleague of mine. She's also probably one of the most important developers in the German-speaking WordPress community.
I think I've heard of her.
Yeah, she had been hosting late for the 2024. She has also been organizing one of the first WordCamps in Germany. And for me, she's a really special person. I have the pleasure of working with her for, I think now 2 years already. And she's completely different than me, which is a challenge, but it's also there's still so many great opportunities. And I had so many eye-opening conversations with her. To me, she's someone really interesting that you should talk to.
Now, how do you spell her last name?
Lischek. Lyschc. I'm really bad at spelling. Hik.
Yeah, I think I've seen her name. It's so funny because the WordPress community is so big that...
It is big and at the same time it is small.
Yeah. Yes. In some ways it's too small. Right. I get it. You're right. It's big, but it should be much bigger. Don't you get that feeling sometimes? It should be just much bigger than it is, considering how many people use WordPress.
Yeah, especially so. So what we always see is that we have these great events, we have WordCamps, we have so many great things and podcasts and all these kind of things in the WordPress community. But most of our customers who earn their money with WordPress don't even know about that. They have never even heard about a WordCamp. They've never been to a WordCamp. I have probably never listened to any of these great podcasts or subscribe to those newsletters because they're just operating in a completely separate world. And we try to get that together and to make them aware of the community, what's happening, their ways of contributing, but also ways of getting information and all that. But I completely agree.
There is no question about that. I met somebody through a Michelle Frechette speed dating. It wasn't speed dating. It was speed networking. It was like speed dating. And you meet people real quick. And I met this woman, I can't remember her name. Anyway, she was in Minnesota. She was building websites and earning a living, had no idea about the WordPress community. None. Zero. WordCamps, meetups, nothing. So interesting. And she's kind of typical of, that kind of thing.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, thank you, Sandra, by the way, do you have any you don't have any nicknames? Does anybody call you something? It's just, oh, yes,
I have never had a nickname.
You strike me as being like really serious, but you do laugh, so you can't be that serious. All right. Thank you again for doing this, and I look forward to seeing you.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Hey, I didn't know that Sandra plays the flugelhorn in a Bavarian-style band and in a big band, and that's how she met her husband. Doesn't have much to say about Miami, Florida, but loves Key West. As a student, she studied hard and partied hard too, and that sports was her worst subject. Rides her bike to work every day for 10 kilometers, pulling 70 kilos worth of children trailing in the back. That's 156 pounds for those of you on the British imperial system. And that Botswana is one of her favorite places. Did you? Now, it's great to be back after a couple of weeks off. And until next time, thank you for your time.